Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Friday morning warm-up, number 124. And today we will be looking at the minor pentatonic scale, or the pentatonic minor scale, as some people name it. In particular, concert D minor. So that you'll be getting tuned into that. We'll get started with a bit of clapping, and this will be the last time we do the habanera. And today, what we're going to do is not just the first one or the second one, but both at the same time. Not at the same time, one after the other, sorry. As a 2-bar loop clap. So we're just going to use that as a... this is an artificial thing. I don't think this would normally appear in music, but if you do listen to any music, especially tunes called habanera, you will hear one or the other rhythm. Bass players, as I mentioned before, sometimes use this pattern when playing bass lines to Latin music, and doesn't have to necessarily be a habanera dance that they're playing it to. It could just be a bossa nova. But the rhythm, which goes da 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 da, could easily be boom 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 boom. Oh, sorry, that's not quite right, but you get the idea anyway. Can follow that kind of rhythmic pattern as well by putting the root down to the fifth. So if you are a bass player, you can incorporate this rhythm in your playing. Right, let's move on and clap. So I'm going to get the tempo going up to a brisk walking pace. I think you should be able to hear that. You can tap your feet if you like, or walk if you're standing. And after 4, we're going to clap the 2-bar pattern. After 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. Da 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 ba. Yes, quite a straightforward rhythm once you into clapping it. Something to do, perhaps, if you do want to actually memorise it, is actually in the middle of the week is just to think, right, what was habanera 1, and just see if you can clap it or hum it without referring back to the recording or the music, and see if you can remember that rhythm. So useful one to any Spanish tinged music will probably have something along those lines in it somewhere. Right, let's grab our instruments and get tangled up with bits of cable. Here we go, nearly there. So as I say, D minor is the key today. So we're gonna just to get your instrument warmed up a little bit, just twang or blow. Okay, and so we'll do the chromatic scale as always. And so starting on concert D. Okay, starting at a nice sedate 80 beats a minute. Let's play the chromatic scale. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go, one more time at this speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what's going to happen next. We're going to speed it up. So that was 80, so we're going up to 100 now to the next level. So that was andante before, a bit faster now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, quite a bit faster. Let's make a big jump up to 140. So we're only going to do 2 more. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more, and I think we'll go up to 180. So how about that? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It's always worth recording yourself doing this session and listening back to it. I say it's always worth it. It would be worth it once probably, just to see how what you sound like. Because it's difficult to listen to yourself when you're actually playing, because there's a different dynamic going on and you're concentrating about what to play. But when you actually listen to yourself and leave it for a few days before you listen to it, so it becomes like listening to somebody else almost. You're not quite so aware of what you were doing at the time. The later you leave it, actually the better it sounds generally. If you listen to yourself immediately after you've just played something, you tend to notice every little mistake you made and everything you meant to do and not meant to do and so on. But leave it a bit and you think, oh, it doesn't sound so bad. And you get a more objective sort of view of what you've done. That applies to whether you're just playing a piece of music or, you know, if you're playing along to something like this. But it might be worth doing that. And you might be able to notice little things where you perhaps maybe sometimes always a little bit flat on certain notes, for example. I know certain notes on my little trumpet, when you get up to E flat, it's always flat. It's the nature of the trumpet, but that needs work on, for example. Right. Okay, that was the chromatic scale. Let's get on to the actual exercise sheet, if you'd like to get hold of that. The minor pentatonic scale. Beloved of guitarists, I'm sure. Often the first scale they learn, it's often the last scale that people who play saxophones and trumpets learn. So it's just because of the nature of the instrument, it does fall nicely under the fingers on a guitar, and it's often the first scale that's taught. I was a guitarist, well, I'm a guitarist, but I learned this scale a long time ago, but I only learned it as a pattern on the fretboard for a long time, until I thought, well, what notes am I actually playing? And this can be not a downfall, but just a consequence of playing an instrument such as a guitar, that you learn the pattern without being aware of what actual notes are in it. So it's important to consider the notes if you want to improve your understanding of the minor pentatonic scale. If you're a sax player or a trumpet player, of course, you've got to actually play the notes. You've got to know them to play them. So it's not quite the same. Another aspect of the minor pentatonic scale, or any scale for that matter, is knowing what intervals are in that scale. And by that, what I mean is, it's a 5-note scale, I'm sure you know that, pentatonic, and it's got a root note, but the next note is the minor third. So the minor pentatonic doesn't have a second, so it goes from the root to the minor third, then it goes up to the 4th, and then the 5th, and the perfect 4th and the perfect 5th, and then the minor pentatonic goes up to the minor 7th, or flattened 7th, sometimes called, or dominant 7th. The 7th, which is 2 semitones below the tonic, and then finally it's back to the tonic at the top. So that's something that we're not always aware of either. So it's the root note, the minor third, so it's obviously a minor scale, then the perfect fourth and the perfect fifth, and the minor seventh. So we're going to play those first 2 bars, first of all, on the sheet there in front of you. Get the metronome down a bit. Probably one reason why the more classical instruments don't learn this is it's not quite used quite so much in classical music, whereas it tends to be used more in blues and pop music, so maybe that's why it's not taught so much in the grades and so on. Okay, here we go. We're going to play the first 2 bars of the sheet after 4. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Do that again after 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Another little comment here for guitarists. I've actually tabbed it out, if you're following the tab rather than the dots, for a different fingering, and it's partly so we break out of the usual patterns and realise that you can actually play the same scale in a different position. So that's one of the reasons why it's tabbed differently. Let's do that one more time. First 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, a very particular sound. Let's do the next 2 bars. So bars 3 and 4 on the top line. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're now just descending and ascending. And again after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That's the actual scale that we're going to be using in the next bit. So we're going to move on now to the next line, and this is just a little exercise moving up and down in bigger intervals. So we're skipping every other note, just working our way up the scale. So it's a different way of playing that scale. Okay, so we're just going to play the second line, exercise number 1, right the way across after 4. Back to crotchets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do that again. 2, 3, 4. Dun, 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 dun. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's just helping to get familiar with not only the actual notes that are in the scale, but the actual sound of it. It's very open sound, and the reason for that is probably, I mean, these are all theories, of course. It's what we're doing here is because there are no there are no adjacent semitones in the scale. All the intervals from one note to the next are either minor thirds or major seconds, so 3 semitones or 2 semitones. There are no up single semitones like there are in regular major and minor scales, and that means you don't get any of that sort of sound of a semitone. Everything's either a tone or a minor third in this particular, and it gives it a more open sort of sound. When it comes to improvising with this, if you are an improviser in music, sometimes doesn't sound quite so kind of intriguing because of this very open sort of sound. But on the other hand, it's quite forgiving when you're playing it, and you're less likely to hit a wrong note because you're less likely to hit a note a semitone away from the right one. That's my way of looking at it. Right, let's go on to exercise number 2. And a little bit like the last one, it's kind of a reverse version. So here we go. Number 2, after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 2, 3, 4. There we go, and just a little explanation now about how it links in with the blues scale, because sometimes that's taught as a completely separate thing, which historically it is. It's come from a different place, but they are extremely similar. If I play first of all this particular scale, this minor pentatonic, the root, minor third, fourth, fifth, flat on the seventh. You can play along if you like, but that's the pentatonic minor. Between the fourth and the fifth, there's this what's called a chromatic note, because it's outside the scale, and it's literally between the fourth and fifth, so it's a semitone away from both. If you include that as well, so this is a flattened fifth or a sharpened fourth, depending on which way you like to look at it. You then have the blues scale. So the blues scale is really the minor pentatonic plus this sharpened fourth or raised fourth. That's a way of remembering it. So if you want to just play the minor pentatonic scale now and add in the sharpened fourth after the fourth, then you'll have the blues scale. Let's just try that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the flatten. This really just so you see the link between the two. Let's do that again. 1. So we just find that note. Yeah, after that note. Getting you to use your ears here. Yeah, so the fourth, the flattened fifth, and the fifth. That little chromatic run. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just a little aside to explain how similar they are. We've done sessions on the blues scale before, so if you want to go back on YouTube and have a look at some of those, just to refresh the blues scale itself, then that's something to do. Okay, now looking for examples of music that use the minor pentatonic scale in the melodies are fairly few and far between. In fact, I found Summertime, of course, the Gershwin and Gershwin tune from Porgy and Bess, and that is predominantly minor pentatonic, although it has occasionally 1 or 2 other notes in there, and why not? So I've just shown an extract there on the next line, extract from Summertime, the melody. It goes on to the 2 bars of the next line as well. We're going to play that in a minute. And then we'll also have a look at a riff from Wild Cherry, a disco band from the 70s. Play that funky music, white boy. I'm sure you'll remember that when you went to nightclubs. And also the riff from Black Knight by Deep Purple, which is on the bottom line. So we're just going to play through these extracts of tunes that use the minor pentatonic scale. But as I say, there aren't many. There's probably more out there than I've found, but if you come across any, as always, do let me know. Right, so we're going to play the Summertime now. So this is the whole line plus the next 2 bars. We'll do it quite slowly. And let me just get the tempo. Dun, dun, dun. A little bit slower than that. I mean, it's not a fast tune anyway, of course, but if this is the first time you've read it, you don't want to be too fast. It's also just above where it says extract from Summertime, it's showing the symbol there meaning swing the quavers. So the quavers aren't written as swinging, they're written straight, like that, but you play them like that. That's a swung quaver. So if you see that at the top there, or if you see the term that says swing, or swing quavers, then you apply that rhythm to what looks like straight quavers. And this is the sort of song that needs that feel. Okay, so I'm going to count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, bum, 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 and we're into Summertime. Okay, here we go. Start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, and stop. Don't go straight into play that funky music, white boy. Okay, let's do that again. I'm just counting the rests and the longer notes, just to make it a little bit more easy. Let's do that again then. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 to start with. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. Boom. Okay, one more time. If you're getting on well with this, maybe have a go at working out the rest of the song by ear, not by looking it up. Here we go, one more time through Summertime. 1, 2, done the wrong counting again. Yeah. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3. 4, 1. 2, 3, 4. Yes, my playing of the rest was a bit better on that second one. When you're playing a tune like this and you're sight reading it, it's tempting just to play it a little bit like what it's in your head, how it is in your head. But it's very good practice, especially for sight reading, to actually play exactly as written, not what you think it is. And sometimes tunes are notated differently to how you've heard them on record. So if you want to be exact about your sight reading, watch out for rests in particular. I found myself letting notes ring on past into the rest, as it were. So make sure your notes are all the right length. And my experience from this my learning about this has come about very much from playing trumpet in a big band, not from playing guitar. When you suddenly find yourself still playing a note and the other trumpet player stopped. So anyway, let's move on to something completely different. Still in the minor pentatonic, but this is Play That Funky Music, White Boy. And this will not be at all funky the way we're going to play it, but I won't play it. We won't be doing it very quickly either. But right. If you're not sure of this and you want to just hear the tune first, just let me play it once, but by all means join in. So again, this will be after 4. There's no rest till the end. Okay, after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll mess that up. Let me just do that on my own first. That's better. Right, okay. Sorry about that. Let's do that again after 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Here we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I didn't actually say that's back to being played straight, and the symbol for that is above, just above where it says extract from. You'll see that it's showing 2 quavers equals 2 quavers, which is a bit odd, perhaps, but that's what it says if it's previously been swung. In other words, it's straightening them back out to be regular quavers. So anyway, we're on to Black Knight next by Deep Purple, a hit in the late 60s, early 70s. And just about when I was getting into pop music, this was. It might have been one of the first singles I ever bought. And I think it's about 1969. And again, it's got 2 quavers equals a triplet crotchet semiquaver, crotchet quaver. So in other words, it's swung. That's what we're saying here. So we're swinging this one. Again, we'll just play it as written. Play it in the style of Deep Purple if you like. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. There we go. Let's do that again. And oh, sorry, I didn't count in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Do-da, 3, 4. Do-da, 3, 4. And there's another tune that you can explore further if you wish. Good-o. Right, well that's some examples there of the minor pentatonic. Like I say, if anyone does come up with any tunes I think are based on that, there will be in some modern classical music, Ravel onwards, incorporating minor pentatonics. Sometimes they do it because they're trying to invoke a folky sort of sound as well. But it's more likely to be a major pentatonic scale, which we have looked at on other occasions, but we will do another time. Right. Okay, on to the final bit of the session today then, and this is going to be the chord strumming bit. Now, one of the most common uses of the minor pentatonic scale is improvising over a blues. Now, this is what's called a minor blues. It can be used over a major blues, actually, but this is a minor blues, a particular 12-bar arrangement of the chords in the key of D minor. And in a minor blues, the predominant scale is D minor, of course, but D minor pentatonic is probably the most common scale, or the D minor, or the D blues scale, of course. You can always try playing that when used to improvise. So when you do improvise over this sort of thing, keep the phrases fairly short. Don't just keep playing notes from the scale. Do little vocalized sort of lines. Those sort of short little phrases. And make it sound like it's perhaps a singer having a conversation. Right, I'm going to strum those chords. You can obviously practice your arpeggios and everything else if you'd rather do that rather than improvise. Here we go. 1, 2, or blow some long tones. That's the other thing that's quite common on these sort of practices. 1, 2, 3, 4. Through one more time. Finish on the tonic. Losing my plectrum then. There we go. That's a 12-bar D minor blues. So in concert D minor. Okay, good. Right. Hope you've enjoyed it today and got something from that. And I'll be back next week. Hopefully you will as well. And nice to see you all as always.
So, be less flashy next time.
Yes. Hopefully.
Hopefully let me sort your stuff out. Yeah. Yes.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah.
Have a good
week. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Bye, Chris.
Really
Bye,
good.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Good
weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
I don't know why I'm waving. Bye.